Hello, magic casters of all shapes and sizes. My name is Chance. Welcome to my spellbook, and thank you so much for tuning into the 17th episode of our first level spell series. And I got a question for you. Have you ever wanted to throw flashbangs into hordes of enemies and watch it all play out? Then boy, do we got the spell for you. Today we're going to be taking a look at Color Spray, usable by the sorcerer and the wizard, and naturally through extension anyone else with access to their spell lists, and it is found in the player's handbook. In all honesty, I feel like this is one of the most underused spells in the game. I think thematically it's very cool, the visuals behind it are very nice, but I just can't remember anyone ever picking it. Anyways, let's take a quick look at some mechanics here so we kind of get the gist of what it is. The cast time is the standard one action. The range is a 15-foot cone, the duration is 1 round, and the effect at a glance is as followed. Roll 6 die 10, the total is how many hit points of creatures you can affect. Starting with the creature with the lowest hit points, each creature affected is blind. Subtracting each creature's total hit points before moving on to the next. A creature is only affected if at least half of its hit points are infected. At higher levels, you gain an additional 2 die 10 of points for each spell slot level above first. I hope that makes sense. We'll get into it a little bit more later. The components are the Holy Trinity, so that is somatic, material, and verbal, meaning you have to gesture with one hand. There's a material component, in this case a pinch of powder or sand that is colored red, yellow, and blue, and a verbal component, meaning you have to speak forth an incantation. The school, unsurprisingly, is illusion. Now let's take a look at the full description here so you can kind of get what's going on. A dazzling array of flashing, colored light springs from your hand. Roll 6 die 10. The total is how many hit points of creatures this spell can affect. Creatures in a 15-foot cone originating from you are affected in ascending order of their current hit points, ignoring unconscious creatures and creatures that cannot see. Starting with the creature that has the lowest current hit points, each creature affected by the spell is blinded until the end of your next turn. Subtract each creature's hit points from the total before moving on to the creature with the next low hit points. A creature's hit points must be equal to or less than the remaining total for that creature to be affected. At higher levels, when you cast a spell using a spell slot of 2nd level or higher, roll an additional 2 die 10 for each spell slot level above first. Wow, that is a wordy one. Let's also take a quick look at the rules for blinded as well, just so we're on the same page. A blinded creature can't see and automatically fails any ability check that requires sight. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage, and the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage. Wow, there's a lot going on here. So, is it good? Yeah, circumstantially, yeah, sure. I'm sure there's ways to stack this into builds that you can really take advantage of, and I'm sure there's a lot to do here. That being said, I mean, I don't know, it's not a huge range. It's kind of like sleep in a lot of ways, I guess, and it only lasts for 1 round, or until your next turn. So yeah, 1 round. Okay, let's take a look at some alternative uses here. The best alternative use I could honestly think of is just using it to get out a dodge, honestly. I mean, it'll be up to your DM whether or not they get the reaction of taking that attack of opportunity. I would say no, personally, but it's a little bit hard. Yeah. That being said, I mean, if you have any alternative uses or any crazy stories involving this spell, I'd really like to hear them down beneath. I'm sure they're hilarious, in all honesty. That being said, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and as always, happy casting.